just imagine living on pineapples, pumpkins, and wild tomatoes, because that is absolutely all you have, and collecting your own firewood every day to cook on, while you wait for the enormous sum of money that will enable you to fly across the world. Meanwhile, my teeth were cleaned with charcoal and my body was scrubbed with handmade soap and rinsed in the freezing creek. Stones were gathered to extend the already existing hut into a future community centre. All went ahead in faith. And sure enough, along came a letter. I had inherited $10,000, and just to make sure that I actually went to the other side of the world, as my vision instructed, it happened that my father was also about to embark on his last journey, and I was summoned to England to say my goodbyes to him. Having fulfilled all my personal obligations, I arrived at Forres railway station. I recognized the exact station of my third dream. And the cosmic Christ? What could be more like arriving in heaven than a bus full of excited and loving people and a bus driver with an American accent in deepest Scotland welcoming us? As they say, I thought that I had died and woken up in heaven. In the days that followed, I found a new power, and I found myself spending half the night in the sanctuary, my feet on a purple carpet and wrapped in a golden blanket, staring at the illumined tree of life on the wall. My joy was boundless. People began to remark on my amazing energy as I bounded upstairs 4 at a time and completed jobs in double-quick time. I have always been a very responsible person and loved my time at Findhorn so much that I began to feel guilty. Could I not spend my money on my family and the farm? I tried to leave several times after each week's stay, and once even got to the very south of England and got stuck in a lift that went wrong. Finally, after my rescue, I made my way in a daze to the church across the green. Kneeling at the altar, I heard the voice. "Well, you are not afraid of dying, but why are you afraid of living? Go back to Findhorn." My money guilt was solved by a kind friend who was a member and who invited me to stay in her house while I worked every day in various departments in the foundation. I finally stayed for 6 months and learned more than I can possibly say. Every day was a total revelation. I got used to saying, "Well, what miracle will you show me today?" And I never wanted to leave. And although I did go back to Australia eventually, because my husband of those days and my young son was there, I went back to Findhorn several times over the years. Each time, someone gave me the money to do it, and I learned more and more from Findhorn. That was to prove useful at the Hermitage. On one of these trips, my son Peter, who had been travelling round the world, came to visit me there. I remember the night. There was a sharing in the Universal Hall, and Peter came with me and was so impressed that he decided to do an experience week, that famous gateway to the community. By Wednesday, he wanted to become a member, and of course I was thrilled. I had found it very hard being virtually on my own at the Hermitage, and had thoughts of consolidating the energy by joining the foundation in Scotland and bringing my money with me. I wondered whether God maybe had made it all so difficult because I had needed to learn things in Australia that were needed at Findhorn. I found that the farm was worth exactly the price of Cologne, one of their houses that was being sold, and Eileen Caddy, one of the co-founders of But there were others who were not so sure. By Saturday, Peter also had other ideas. He couldn't get Australia and the Hermitage out of his mind, and so we came back and made our Australian Findhorn here. There were now 2 of us with the vision, and as they say, where 2 or more are gathered together in my name, there am I also. And so it came to pass. This was an interesting lesson for me because I learned that spirituality could be anchored in many places, and also that no matter what, Findhorn was my spiritual home. But for us, there was now different work to do.